Welcome to Law Firm Marketing Mastery. I'm Christopher Small. Law Firm Marketing Mastery brings together the best coaches in the industry to teach you how to crush it with your law firm. Imagine having a bunch of experienced mentors teaching you their expertise, packing decades of research, testing, and tough lessons into a concise curriculum. I've created one of the premier law firm coaching programs available anywhere, and it's free. This is a show that I wish I had a decade ago. Now, this show is about you, and I'm here to help you start and build your best law firm. So make sure to stay up to date with everything going on here, as well as getting some killer free stuff by signing up for the newsletter at lawfirmmarketingmastery.com. If you're new to the show but want to know more about what I teach here at Law Firm Marketing Mastery, check out the Getting Started page at lawfirmmarketingmastery.com/start-here. That's where I've got the fundamentals of starting and building a successful law firm, such as choosing a niche, naming your firm, search engine optimization, internet marketing, leadership, mindset, and more. That stuff is all obviously extremely important to your success, so make sure you get a handle on that as well. I've also got Law Firm Confidential, a members-only site dedicated to starting and building a successful law firm, and the Inner Circle, an exclusive mastermind group for lawyers wanting to take their firm to the next level. Details on that at lawfirmmarketingmastery.com, or just give me a call or even email me at chris@lawfirmmarketingmastery.com, and I'll tell you exactly what you need to know to get started with that. I'm looking forward to meeting all of you here at Law Firm Marketing Mastery. Hello, and welcome again to episode 77 of the Law Firm Marketing Mastery podcast. As always, I'm your host, Christopher Small, and we've got some interesting stuff to talk about today. Today, we're going to be talking about answering a reader question. It's actually a member question, and he emailed me a couple days ago and asked me this question. He even recommended that, hey, you know what, if this is a good podcast information, then share with everybody, and it really is great podcast information. So I'm gonna take a sip of my water, and then we're gonna dive in. All right. So before I get there, I want to give a little plug for my membership site, Law Firm Confidential, and Sean is the person that sent this in. I want to give him read what he wrote. He said the podcast and Law Firm Confidential are great. I don't think my firm would be close to successful if I didn't have these resources. Thanks for putting all the time and effort into them. Well, no, thank you, Sean, for going and looking at them and using them. And that's why they're there. That's why I put them all together. There are things that work for me, so I know that they'll work for you. And so I just had to toot my own horn there a little bit, because you lawyer people don't like to give a lot of feedback sometimes, and so when I get it, I like to let you all know about it. So anyway, here's the question though. The question is, when do you take time to work on your law firm? Do you set aside some time each day, or do you set a big chunk during the week? All right, so pretty simple question, but it's got a relatively complicated answer. What I'm going to do is I'm going to break it up into two parts. I'm going to walk you through sort of a typical day for me, and then I'm going to answer his question very, very specifically about how I get work done on the firm. All right, so here's the first thing I wanted to talk about is sort of just a typical day for me, and it all varies from person to person, I think, but I started doing something new, a couple of months ago, probably, maybe about 45 days ago, and it's made a huge difference, not just in my productivity, but my mood, my energy level, my outlook on life. It's been ridiculous. And what that is I've established a morning routine, and that's how I start every single day. Even on the weekends, I start with the morning routine. So what I do is, I wake up, and I'm going to get pretty detailed here just so you guys know. Maybe some of you are interested in this, right? So I wake up. I usually set my alarm for about 6, and I heard this cool thing from some podcast that I was listening to, and what the guy said was, don't hit the snooze button if your mind is kind of trying to talk you out of doing something. Just take this tactic. Go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and just go do it. Just stop messing around. If you're at a networking event and you want to go talk to somebody, don't talk yourself in or out of it. Just 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. So that's what I've kind of been doing. Alarm goes off at 6. Get up, brush my teeth, go downstairs, have a big glass of water. Typically, we eat a hard-boiled egg. That's from the 4-Hour Body from Tim Ferriss. recommends to get that protein in you right away, sort of jumpstart your energy level, get you some brain food. And then from that point on, I just dive right into my morning routine. And it goes the same way every time. And I have a template set up in Evernote, and I go through it every day. I just copy it and I paste it into the day, right? And I just go knock it out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. First thing I do is 5 minutes of meditation. I have an app on my phone called, let me pull it up. It's called Simply Being, and Being, B-E-I-N-G. And it's a free app on the iPhone. It's sort of just a guided meditation. You can pick how long you want. 5 minutes for me is still tough, but it makes a big difference, sort of clearing my mind and just getting me ready to go through the day. The same thing I do are some affirmations. Affirmations are just sort of kind of self-talk that you give yourself. I say them out loud, and I do it every day because they are sort of mindset things, ways I want to believe. Let's take a quick time out for a sec. I'm sure there are a ton of you out there thinking, yeah, this all sounds great, but how do I actually do this stuff? How do I implement it? Let me introduce you to a program I've created called Law Firm Confidential. Law Firm Confidential is about one thing: results. I've unlocked the secrets of my success in step-by-step how-to fashion so you can see the results with your firm that you know you deserve. And if you're just starting out, what I've created is the best how to start a law firm program around. Don't sit around and let your life pass you by. Go to lawfirmmarketingmastery.com/confidential today to find out how you can create the law firm of your dreams. Now, back to the good stuff. After that, I have a vision board. I look at the vision board for a couple minutes. It has some of my big goals and my big dreams and things like that in picture form there. And the whole idea with the vision board is you want to go look at the pictures. You want to imagine yourself in the places. You want to imagine yourself doing the things that are there. You want to really kind of immerse yourself in the experience. And the whole idea is just that when you do that, the universe sort of starts to work in your favor to help you accomplish those things. All right. Once I'm done with that, then I do journaling/gratefulness/ the one thing. All right. And this is where sort of the productivity begins for me, in many aspects, sort of for the day. So the first thing that I do is I have a line for each person in my family. So I have my wife and my 2 kids. And every day at this time, I write down one thing that I'm grateful for from them. Okay. Sometimes it's big things. Sometimes it's small things. You know, my youngest kid's like 5 months old, so you know he can only show me so much, right? But there are little things that he does each day that really enjoy, and I'll typically go write those things in. Like for instance, today, looking at today's, for Jackson, my 5-month-old, I wrote, "I'm grateful for your cuddliness," right? So it's just those things, and it's just a way to sort of remember the good things that are happening in your life. The other thing that I do at this time is I journal, okay? And I break the journaling is broken up into 3 distinct parts. The first part is what my successful day looks like moving forward, and I typically will write in general words, depending on, you know, what's on my plate for that day. You know, today. I wrote my successful day is on point. It is focused. It is ruthless. It is compassionate. Okay? And that's just because I really wanted to come in here and get some work done today. I knew I was going to be putting together this podcast. And, you know, those are the words that I wanted to sort of start my day off. Then after that, I do my one thing for the day. And this is a big, big thing that's really increased my productivity. What I do every day is I have goals for the quarter, right? And every day I think about what is one thing that I can do to push myself one step closer to realizing those goals. You know, what's the one thing that I can do today? The one thing I must do today to do that. And what's cool about that is it sort of eliminates all the clutter. It eliminates all the emails, all the silly meetings that you might have, or things you have to do, and it really boils down to that one thing. Okay, and then I get out there and I try to do that thing as early as possible. It doesn't always happen that way, but that's what I try to do. And what that does, it really gives you a sense of accomplishment too. It really laser focuses you and identifies the one thing, like it says. And then the other thing I do is, and then the last thing I do is I journal, typically about the day before. So I'll just say a couple words about what happened before, a couple things that happened that were good, anything that's going on in my mind. It's really pretty short. It's usually like between 5 and 10 sentences. So it's pretty short. Once I'm done with the journaling, then I read 10 pages of a good book, sometimes more, sometimes less. Right now I'm reading Ayn Rand's, can't remember the name of the book. That's terrible. Atlas Shrugged. I've been reading it for a long time. It's a really, really long book. But I typically will read, between 10 or 15 pages of that book every day. If I get to a good part, I'll just keep pushing on because I love to read. Once I get done with the book, I do my French practice. So I'm trying to learn French, and I have an app on my phone called Duolingo, and I just pop on there, do a couple lessons for the day, so I can improve my French skills. And I started from zero about 45 days ago, and I still suck. I'm not good. I can't carry on a conversation. I can tell you, the woman likes apples, that kind of stuff. I'm really good at talking about apples right now. But that's the thing. Baby steps. To do a little bit each day. Next thing you know, you look up and you're decent at French. One other interesting thing about Duolingo, and is that I was watching. This is totally an aside, total tangent. I was on Netflix messing around, and I found this list of TED Talks, and one of the TED Talks was by the guy that created Duolingo, and it was interesting to me, obviously, because I'm using it, and I learned two really cool things there that I didn't know that I think are interesting, and just sort of demonstrate how creative problem solving can make a big difference in the world. The first thing this guy did was he invented the CAPTCHA. So if you're on a website and it asks you to write in like a random word or a set of numbers, and to prove you're a human, he invented that thing. But what he was saying was what happened was because the reason that is because computers cannot read the words the way that they're written in those CAPTCHAs. Only humans can. So that was a way to sort of get over spam, right? But they encountered a problem as they started to try to digitize books. So as they started to try to scan books in, they ran into problems because the computers could not recognize some of the words. Once the books are like older than 50 years old or something, the print can become hard to read. The paper starts to yellow, and the computers can't read it. So what they started to do was they invented this program called reCAPTCHA. And what they did was they would pull two random words out of a book, and they would put those two words together in the CAPTCHA form, and they would have people identify the words for free, as part of the project. And then once those words were verified by like 10 people or something, then it would insert them back into the book where they were, and the computer could read the words. And what's cool about that is, there are like 100 million people or something using these CAPTCHAs. And so you can do, what did they say, all of Wikipedia or something, you could do with 100 million people in like 80 hours. So it's really crazy the way that they discovered that and then also implemented that process. So anyway, this guy, he invented Duolingo. And Duolingo teaches you languages, Spanish, French, things like that. But it also sort of does the same thing but it works with translations. So what Duolingo does is it takes sentences out of books or web pages or things like that need to be translated, and it presents those sentences to the people that are trying to learn the language. So they are translating it constantly. And then what it does is it combines, all of the input from the people, and it helps to translate those web pages. So anyway, big tangent, but I thought that was super, super cool. So anyway, once I'm done with Duolingo, I move on. There's another app that I use called Anki, and that's another language learning tool. I don't actually do that every morning, but it's sort of a supplement. So if I'm feeling really French, I'll dive in and use Anki and practice just a little bit more. Once I'm done with that, then I do do some exercise. So I typically will pop my headphones in, turn the song on, and I'll do this yoga flow that I have for a song. So for about 5 minutes, I can usually get through it about 10 times or so, and it not only just helps me stretch out, but it also helps me just kind of get the blood moving. Wakes me up a little bit. And then this is something that I just started this week, and I'm a little embarrassed to admit this. I must admit, but it's something that's really been pretty cool for me. So when I went to this conference a couple weeks ago that I talked about on a last week's podcast, and maybe the week before for sure, we did this thing, and so we'd come back from lunch, or we would be really deep into something, and the energy level would get low. And so what we do is we'd stand up, they'd turn a song on, and we all would just kind of jump around and dance for like 30 seconds or a minute or so. And it's amazing how, not just how that gets your blood moving, but it really sort of increases your mood, makes you feel better. So just randomly, I finished my yoga routine, and I used Spotify, and I moved, and the Spotify moved on to the next song, and it was a pretty good song. So I was like, you know what? Why don't I just dance one out? I'm doing this at 6 o'clock in the morning, so my wife is asleep, kids are asleep, everybody's asleep. So I thought, why don't I just dance it out? And I did, and it was awesome. I felt really, really good when I was done. So I've been doing that every time, and I got to tell you, it feels really great. Once that song's over, I do 50 push-ups. Then I do, once that's over, then I do a plank, sort of like a ab sort of exercises for about a minute to 90 seconds, depending on what it is, and that's usually enough to make me really tired. Once those are done, then that's it. My morning routine is over. I will typically go wake up our youngest kid, feed him, and sort of get the ball rolling on all that kind of stuff. And to give you an idea, this morning routine typically takes me about an hour, 45 minutes to an hour or so. And I don't rush it. If I rushed it, I probably could do it in about half an hour. But it usually takes me an hour, so I can wake up at 6. I'm done by about 7. And then sort of the normal day gets started. Get the kid out, feed the kid, take a shower, get dressed or whatever. I'm usually get to the office at about 9:30 or so. I make sure the kids all get packed up and off, and then I make my way to the office. Once I get to the office, every day is not necessarily different. I typically will focus on different things on different days. But I will have already had my one thing that I need to get done. So I typically will try to dive into that. I'll have another couple of items, usually written down, things that I want to work on. So I'll tackle those, sort of my next one things. And pretty much the day is done. That's my typical day. I typically leave the office at about 4 or so to get home to help wifey with the kids. We sit, we hang, we have dinner, put the kids to bed like at 8. Then from about 8 to 10, I typically will work a little bit more. Sometimes my wife and I will watch some TV for a little bit, and then we'll kind of just sit there together and work and hang out and, just whatever. All right, everyone. Now I want to take another time out for a sec. A lot of people think the Law Firm Marketing Mastery training programs are just about making money, and honestly, yeah, there's a lot of that. Spend some time with me and you're definitely going to be making more money. But there's so much more to it than just making money. It's important to be rich and have a great life too. I want you to be great at work, great at home, great with your friends and family. I want you to step it up everywhere. I want you to get results with your life, not just with your business. And the results are real. I've had many conversations with members who are experiencing big time success. If you're listening to Law Firm Marketing Mastery, you are the type of person who's already interested in improving themselves. There's a lot of options out there today, and I think you have already decided. If you want to check out your options for improving your business and living the life of your dreams, check out lawfirmmarketingmastery.com/confidential. Hope to hear from you soon. Enjoy the rest of the show. Sometimes then it depends on where I'm at. If I'm in a good groove, wifey goes to bed, I'll stay up and just keep working and messing around. And I'm sort of a night worker, I feel like. It's quiet, there's nobody around. I can get focused, and once I get locked in, then I can just go. It's no big deal. And for me, the cool thing about this almost everything I do, probably I would say 90% of everything that I do, it doesn't feel like work to me. It's interesting, it's challenging, and it's fun. So I don't feel ground down by the things that I do. I feel energized, and I hope you feel the same way, and I hope you can find something that will help you do that. So then I go to bed. I try to go to bed like 11. Most of the time I go to bed around midnight. Then I wake up in the morning and do it all over again. During the weekends, I typically will work just a little bit if I can. I have my inner circle meeting every Sunday at 6. That's with the mastermind group that I have through here. Which, by the way, if I gotta tell you, it's pretty cool. Every week we get on and I hear, I got a couple more clients. One guy started with zero clients, and I think we've been going at it 4 weeks or so. He's got he signed 3 clients last week, so that was really cool. I was really, really excited for him, and it's one of those things that if you put the time in, put the effort in, you get the results. So if you're interested in that, by the way, lawfirmmarketingmastery.com/inner circle, I believe will get you there. If not, you can just shoot me an email, chris@lawfirmmarketingmastery.com, and I'll send you to the right place. I don't have it in front of me. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. That's my day. Now, let's get to a little bit more of the even more technical, I guess, on how I work on the firm and then in the firm too, right? Both. How do I work on the firm and in the firm? So how do you get that laundry list of marketing and business activities done that you need to get done, and get the legal work that you need to get done? And I got to admit, it's a little bit easier for me now because I have a team of people helping me. I have my business partner. We have another attorney. They really do a lot of the day-to-day sort of legal work. The negotiating cases and doing that kind of stuff. And, but back in the day, it was just me. I didn't even have an assistant. I had no one. So I was faced with the same problems that you were. I know how that feels, how overwhelming it can be. And let me just tell you how I fought it. So what I did was I would batch. Okay, it's called batching. So for example, what I would do is Mondays would be sort of my DUI days. They would be my work days. So I would come in, all of my files, let's say I had like 10, 20 open cases or whatever. Typically what I would do is I would look at the case, I would look at the next 2 weeks out, and then I would work on those cases, right, for that week. So I'd come in on Monday, I'd see the cases that were out for the next 2 weeks. I'd just get all those files together. I'd go through each one at a time. I'd work through the file, look through it, see what I need to do next, what's going on. If it was at a point where I could negotiate the case, so boom, I fire off an email, pull up the next case. I would go through all of those cases and figure out what I was going to do on them for the next 2 weeks, and then I would actually just do the work right then. I would just bust it out. Typically, you can do it. I could probably do it in like a day, half a day, depends on how many cases there were coming up. And then I would spend the rest of the time on the other stuff, on the other business stuff, and I would batch that as much as I could too. So if there was, let's say I had a bunch of traffic tickets get signed up, and I had a bunch of notices of appearance to file and things like that, then I would not do them as they came in. I would let them pile up, and then I'd do like 5 in a row. Boom, I just knock through all of them. When I was doing blog posts, I'd write 3 or 4 at a time for the whole week, and then I just would schedule them out. That's what I do now with Twitter, for example. I don't know if you guys follow me on Twitter, @csmall. After this podcast is done, for example, I go to Hootsuite, and I will set the tweets for this specific podcast for the whole month out. So I don't have to worry about going in and putting in new tweets for this podcast every day. It just happens automatically. And then, I may assign like a half an hour to social media a day, where I'll go hit Facebook with the idea of actually putting out some content. Same with Twitter, interacting with people and stuff like that. All right. The other way that I do this too is I don't check my email all the time. I try to check my email once in the morning, right at noon, and then once in the afternoon, and that's it. When I'm not doing that work on email, the email is closed. Okay. because the email is someone else's to-do list, right? They're interrupting your productive time to get help with their problems, right? And there are typically no emergencies that are going to come through that can't wait a couple of hours, a few hours, and I found that to be a huge relief for me, for time and productivity. So, I think that's kind of it in a nutshell. And then it's really just a commitment to stay on task, I guess, too, at the end of the day. And that's what that morning routine really has helped kind of pull in my focus. I don't know if it's the meditation or just the whole process of doing that, but I've noticed lately I'm just getting so much more done. I'm so much more focused, and I just come in and I tackle every day a lot better than I used to. I still have my lapses, and typically, if I'm working hard on something, like this podcast, I've been talking here for about 22 minutes. Probably gonna take me another hour at least to get everything posted and set up and like that. When I'm done, I may just take 15, 20, 30 minutes and just relax and just chill and do something that is not work related. Just kind of reset my brain and then get ready to tackle the next thing. So, great question, Sean. I hope this helped. If you guys have questions, email me. Again, chris@lawfirmmarketingmastery.com. I want to hear them. I'll answer them on here. They're great content for you because they're the questions that you want to have answered, and gives me a chance to sort of talk about this stuff. I can tell you coming up in the future, I'm going to try to get a lot more interviews on here. I have a lot of things in the works for interviews. I have also, here's another cool thing too I have that I'm putting together. I'm putting together my content creation infographic to show you how I go through and do everything. So if you're interested in that, be on the lookout for that. It'll be on my website, lawfirmmarketingmastery.com. And then probably with this next podcast, it'll actually be completed, and I can tell you where you can go if you want to get a hold of that. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be real cool. It's going to show you how I basically take one piece of content and use it 14 different ways. And that's leverage. That's another way that's another sort of productivity tip for how I get so much stuff done. I try to, leverage my time and my efforts as much as I can. So if I can use something in many different ways, then I will do that. All right. So I think that's it. We're 25 minutes, pretty long time for you guys to just be listening to me talking. I appreciate your listening. And if you want to like me on Facebook, go to facebook.com/lawfirmmarketingmastery, Twitter @csmall. You can always just shoot me an email, chris@lawfirmmarketingmastery.com. And that's it, guys. So have a great week, and gals. Have a great week, and look forward to talking to you soon. Bye-bye. Special thanks to you guys for listening, show feedback, and guest suggestions. I rely on you all to keep my finger on the pulse. So if you know someone that is a good fit for the show, let me know. chris@lawfirmmarketingmastery.com, and of course, Law Firm Confidential details there as well. Go ahead and email or call me honestly. That's the best way to get in touch, and I'll give you everything you need to know about my programs. If you are listening but aren't subscribed in iTunes or Stitcher, go ahead and make the change there, because getting your shows delivered free to your phone or computer while you sleep is the best way to make sure you don't miss anything. Just go to iTunes or Stitcher and search for Law Firm Marketing Mastery. That's it. And if you want to write me a nice review, I'll love you forever there as well, because it helps other people find me, and it's really important to keep my show ranks up. So tell your friends, because the greatest compliment you can give us is a referral to someone else, either in person or share it on the web. So have a great week. Go out there and take care of business, and know that the work you put in today is going to pay off 10 times over tomorrow.